On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got your boy back in action. You already know what it is. We in the crux of the NFL season. We in full effect. Week 4 is here. So you already know what we here to do. We're reviewing week 3, seeing if some of my predictions came true. I know I gave some predictions last week, so we're going to see how we did there. And then we got week 4 to preview for NFL. We got fantasy football week 3. I lost again. I'll talk about that. Then week 4 to preview and all that jazz. And then we're going to get into some WNBA because we got some awards to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Asia. A little spoiler alert there. And then we got some WNBA playoffs as well. A little bit of sports to talk about. Sports loaded episode. And then we'll talk a little bit of Cinema Corner towards the end. No pop culture this week, but it's mostly sports and a little Cinema Corner. But we got a lot to talk about in this episode. Sorry, it's a little bit more, not late for you guys. I'm just recording it later than I usually am. But still, nonetheless, it's still going to be lots of effort, lots to talk about, and lots of enthusiasm. Y'all ain't got to worry about it, man. Ain't no lacking in my game. I'm still here for y'all. But hope you guys are ready. It's whatever day you listen to the podcast on. I ain't even going to tell you what day I'm recording because you got to figure it out yourself. I'm just kidding. I'm recording it on Thursday. I'm actually watching the Cowboys and the Giants game as we speak, trying to get the final results so I can talk about that once I get into the game previews. Neighbor just got a fucking concussion, man. Hope he's good. He's balling out too. But anyways, stop the long talking. You know what I'm saying? You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us today. Click and play on my podcast, Lydell Dinero. Our podcast. Let me rephrase that. That's kind of selfish of me. But yeah, where that theme song at? No more long talking. Where it's at. It's right here. Let's go.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to Unitas. It's the best of bias. Your best of bias. Yeah, it's the best of bias.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Best of Bias podcast. If you're new, welcome. It's the most welcoming, the most informational, the most inclusive, the most, I don't know, any adjective you can think of, you can just put it right on top. Pause. And you got the Best of Bias podcast. You know what I'm saying? Welcome in another week. Blessed to be here. Blessed to have you here. Loads to talk about, as you heard in the beginning. I won't rehash it all. You know, no long talking because I already started with a bunch of the long talking. So you kind of know what we're here to do. You know what we're here to get into. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it. But first, I'll be remiss if I didn't talk about my weekend. You know what I'm saying? Because I told you I was doing some traveling. San Diego, I frequent San Diego because that's where my girl is. You know what I'm saying? I go out there, do a lot of traveling, a lot of visiting, seeing what San Diego has to offer. You know, you hear about it a lot being from the Bay Area and other parts of the world as places to come in vacation. But, you know, I kind of took it for granted. I didn't know how many actual places you can go and see in San Diego. So I'm always there. I'm always checking it out, always doing something new. Again, I told you guys randomly, I picked a weekend to go out there to San Diego and visit V-Rons. And it just happened to be TwitchCon. And you guys know what I was telling you guys I was trying to do with the gaming. You guys see me online playing. If you guys seen me out there, you know, people that, you know, that I really do know. Excuse me, let me just switch my chain around because it's looking kind of crazy right now. Sorry for the audio listeners. It's probably not that good on the ears. But yeah, I'll be out there, you know, dabbling in the Twitch sphere. I don't have my 50 followers yet. So I'm still, as you can tell, I'm fairly new. So if you're listening to this right now, thank you. Just pause the podcast real quick. Go to Twitch. Add your boy, Lydell _Dinero22. I'll be there. You can find your boy in that area. Yeah, I'm trying to get to 50 followers so I can become a Twitch affiliate, start posting some clips. Because again, I'll be playing games, you know what I'm saying? Not in real life, but in real life, not in the metaphorical sense. But anyways, you know what I mean? I'll be playing 2K, Call of Duty, Tekken, Spider-Man. I got Spider-Man. I play, you know, not just Warzone Call of Duty. I like, you know, the actual game. I'm playing to get that, play some zombies. College Football 25. I still have that, of course. Don't have Madden quite yet, but I'm well versed in the games. You know what I'm saying? Just like this podcast, I do a little bit of everything when it comes to the gaming world. So I'm trying to just cross over. I told you guys that as well. I'm trying to get the Best of Bias podcast as the media, Best of Bias media. It's all encompassing. So it's not just a pod. It's not just merch gang. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to cross over into the gaming as well. And you already know where to find me. You know my name, Lydell _Dinero22. If you're trying to link up, game, be a part of the gaming team, have interest in it, you know what I'm saying? You can holler at me because, again, this trip that I went to, and when I went to TwitchCon this past weekend, it opened my eyes to a whole other community, man. Because I'm getting out there. You can eventually start just calling me the king of the cons, because I be out there. I am not afraid to, try something new as far as these cons are, especially if there's something that piques my interest, especially something I'm trying to be involved in. These cons are kind of the apex meetup for these kind of things. No pun intended. You feel me? But a lot of the times, if you're actually involved in the scene, this is something you kind of go to kind of grow your following, to kind of mingle and kind of see people that actually you watch and have an opportunity to probably just grow your brand. If you're an entrepreneur, you know all about growing your brand, and you would love an opportunity to find people that are doing the same things you're doing or inspire to do, and kind of rub shoulders with them, kind of bounce ideas off of them, and kind of just be a sponge around a bunch of people, a bunch of streamers that kind of do a lot of the same things you want to do. You know what I mean? So when I was there, it was a good experience. I saw a bunch of stuff that I didn't expect to see. I mean, I read about it because I went on a whim, so I didn't really know what to expect. But you guys know I go to the Comic Cons and stuff, so I kind of already know what the conventions kind of hold. But this was a whole new kind of scene, man. Just everybody walking around with their cameras. People are kind of doing that at Comic Cons too, trying to get in their content, because all content is good content. But Twitch, that's what you do. You stream from the platform, wherever you're streaming from, your phone, laptop, iPad, whatever tablet kind of shit you have, and just kind of just show what you're doing, especially if you're not actually on a gaming system or, performing music or whatever people do on Twitch. That's something I also learned. Twitch isn't always just video games. It's a streaming platform that people do a whole bunch of stuff, and people have different followings for the things that they do on Twitch. And I like how inclusive that was as well. By the way, video dropping real soon for the TwitchCon review. I know I'm kind of lagging on that too, but it's been a busy week since I've been back, just trying to ingratiate myself back into work and kind of getting back to you guys and kind of putting everything together. You know what it is, same old excuse. But it was a good time. Again, I really want to get this gaming team together so we can go out there and represent and actually maybe take place in some of these games. Like, they had game shows. People were sitting there as the crowd were watching these gaming streamers play Street Fighter, take place in kind of physical competition games too. And it's just kind of cool knowing that these people all have a following. I mean, they're famous in a way as far as the Twitch community goes, but they're not all like famous to where it's like overwhelming like celebrities in Comic-Con and shit like that. These people curated a following for themselves, and they're able to make a name for themselves and do some things with it. And I like that. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I'm inspiring to do. Though it's not podcast necessarily, it's still content and streaming and just kind of putting yourself out there to a wider audience. And, when I'm not potting, I'm gaming or doing some kind of shit relatively close to that. So I kind of feel like it's a good opportunity, but I enjoy myself. And again, like, I'm trying to get the guys on the hype, man. Get 2K, get COD. We play COD together a lot, but if you have time, I know people have regular jobs and take a lot, have to do jobs to, provide for themselves. And Twitch is kind of a side thing. Video games is kind of a side thing, but who knows? This E thing could be getting really big, and if you take the opportunity to use the time that we do play games for a better cause, anything is possible. So I thought it was cool. And again, next weekend I'm going to Comic-Con. Again, if you guys really want to go to TwitchCon next year, I'm willing to go, but I'm trying to put that work in to actually be somebody on Twitch and have a following so we can go there mobbed up deep and just, represent big time. Best of Bias Gaming. So if you're trying to get down with that, holla at me. Again, if you have a con that's Comic-Cons, those kind of cons, Evo, I'm trying to go to Evo in Las Vegas. Shout out to Sean. We're gonna go out there and try to see what's good. I think he competed in the Tekken tournament, so I would definitely love to go out there and cover him competing again and kind of watch and see and absorb how that environment is out there in Vegas, Mandalay Bay. Yeah, it's pretty raw. So, anyways, Comic-Con coming up next week. I can't wait to go. I'll probably be on the scene there, probably get a lot of footage there, hoping to do a lot more stuff there. I've been telling you guys as it got closer that I do want. This is the third time me going to LA Comic-Con. Whole bunch of celebrities going to be there. Rosario Dawson, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, the whole cast from Back to the Future, Addams Family cast. You got the voice cast from Rick and Morty. What Happens in the Dark? What's that vampire show on FX? That whole crew is gonna be there. it's just and voice actors, Johnny Young Bosch, yeah. It's just a bunch of people. Big opportunity for me to go out there, get some pop sign, and just rub shoulders and buy some art, man. I'm all about the art nowadays, and it's really exciting for me to actually get away from regular life and kind of just do shit that I'm passionate in. A lot of these days, the world is so serious, and the corporate world and regular jobs and working for the man, quote unquote, sometimes can get depressing. And sometimes you do need that time for yourself to go out and do things that make you happy, just refresh your social batteries, like people like to say nowadays. Just step away, man. And I encourage anybody. I know it's hard to get jobs right now, so I'm not telling anybody to quit their job or do nothing like that. But I'm encouraging kids nowadays, if you really want to do something you're passionate in, start really young so you don't have to go through the spoils of having to try to live out somebody else's dream before you have to achieve yours, in a sense. You know what I mean? You don't have to work for somebody's company and make them millions of dollars before you're able to make your own millions of dollars. You know what I mean? You don't have to spend the 50 years in the corporate world that these past people had to do to make it to the places you need to make the money you need to make. Do stuff for yourself to prepare yourself for the future so you don't have to rely on nobody else. That's just coming from me as a guy trying to make it and trying to transition into that mind state now and being kind of locked into the old school mentality of that if you have no security, if you have no work behind you, then you are nothing, and you have no fall, what's the word? No cushion to fall on if you do fall off it. People are taking risks nowadays, and I really respect that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get into that shell, get it bust out of my shell myself, and so to speak, and just kind of just believe in entrepreneurship and believe in myself to the point where I don't need to necessarily be scared to take chances and take risks. You know what I mean? But anyways, enough of that sappy shit. TwitchCon, Comic-Con, I'm fuck with y'all. I'll be back next year. I'm gonna continue to go. And again, if you want to grow this team and be a part of this team, you know what I mean? Let's go. Let's travel. Let's record it all. Let's document it all. Let's live while we're here. We're not here forever. So let's just do what we can to make this time we spend it on this little, this blue globe, as long as it's blue. Having a good time, you feel me? But anyways, Week 3 NFL. Well, actually, let's start with fantasy. I'm sorry. Week 3 results for the Best of Bias Invitational 2024. Again, thank you guys for always being competitive, being pushy, being edgy in the group chats. But I still need y'all on the pod. I'm gonna keep saying that it's week 4 now, and I ain't heard a peep from nobody. Everybody's scared. Everybody's just being standoffish, and I get it. Public image is everything for people nowadays. That's another something that we were taught in the old school. You know what I'm saying? It's still relevant today. You know what I'm saying? You only get one chance at a good reputation. Everybody cares about their reputation, as you should, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times you should be able to trust yourself to be in front of a camera and say things without saying things you shouldn't say that could get you in trouble. I'm not saying I'm the best at it or I'm a perfectionist at it yet, because I'm still new to the podcast game and media game myself. But being able to have hard conversations or just conversation in general and just still be able to talk amongst your boys or your girls or whatever, and still kind of portray yourself without feeling like you need to be somebody else or be sheltered and scared of saying something wrong. You guys don't be worried about that, man. We talking football. We talking fantasy football, and I have all the faith in you guys that you guys can be competitive without revealing too much of yourself that can be risky. You feel me? But anyways, week 3 results. Let's go through the guys' matchups and just let you guys know how it came out. I actually got the standing this week, so I got y'all. So week 3 results, it was me versus K-Swag. K-Swag whooped my ass. His running backs got off this week. Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor? Jonathan Taylor, yes, his name. Got off, I think they had 25 plus each, and then his quarterback just destroyed me as well. It was just a bad week for me. I was on a high horse because I got to, I believe, it was 1-1. Yeah, I was on a high horse actually. I was in 3rd place, so I thought I was back in motion. But after I got whooped this week, I'll talk about my standings in a little bit. It just kind of put me down in the dumps. But I had a good start after this Thursday night football game just ended. had CeeDee Lamb, and he got off for me. You know what I'm saying? So I started this week off strong playing Kev, but we gonna get there when we get there. But then this week, first week, or excuse me, again, well, I don't know why I keep saying first week. Week 3, I did lose, 105 to 134. Shout out GG's K Swag. Shenanigans, which is Deshaun, beat 56 Double D's, which is Jason, 151 to 117. Sean's championship team, which is Sean M, beat Drake, or lost to Drake 1, which is Yancey, 109 to 85. Armpit, which is Derek, beat Primetime Pope 134 to 126. Cam's Catering came up big with a victory, beating Damon with the upset, 115 to 92. Hot Boys beat Derek's Jet Skis 122-97. Good matchups this week, guys. You know what I'm saying? Week 4 is among us. We got about 10 weeks left, I believe. Like I've been saying in the group chat, I think it's the playoffs started about week 14. 6 teams make it. So again, this is where I told you guys I start talking about the standings, because we start to separate ourselves. Everybody was kind of clunked up together, and a lot of people do still have the same records, but you know, some people are 3-0, some people are 2-1, some people are 1-2 and took L. So we'll see. Let's see. Week 4 preview though. It's me versus Cam's Catering, which is Kevin. 56 Double D's, Jason versus with myself, Damon. And then we have Sean's championship team, Sean M versus Shenanigans, Deshaun. K-Swag versus Armpit, which is Kyle versus Derek. Then we have Primetime Pope versus Derek's Jet Skis. Primetime Pope, which is Kenny, versus Sean G. And then we have Derek 1 versus Hot Boys, or excuse me, Derek 1. Drake 1 versus Hot Boys, which is Yancey versus John. Again, week 4 is among us, guys. We got big bucks up for grabs. Almost everybody has paid so far. I extended it for a couple of people. They're paying me this week, and everybody should be all paid up unless I talk to you. But good looks on that. Way to get the money in on time, guys. Way to be men of your word. May the best man win. Though I'm not in first place anymore, I'm actually dropped to 7th place. Again, I'll get into the standings in a second. I still feel like excuse me, I have a lot to show. You know what I'm saying? My team is still rounding into form. I think I have the best receivers in the game as a team. CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, and Rashee Rice. My running backs, yeah, those still leave a little to hope for. I have Rashad White, who last week hurt his groin and is fighting for carries for Bucky Irving. I have both of them, but I can't start both. So I'm just hoping that he gets a lot of catches this week and kind of like, you know, stay relevant in there. And then I got Zach Moss for the 0-3 Bengals, who kind of is holding his own. Had 20 points last week, but they still lost, so it was kind of in garbage time. But I have Jonathan Brooks that I'm hoping out of Texas towards ACLs on starting for the Panthers. Panthers getting better with Andy Dalton starting instead of Bryce Young. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can come in week 6 or 7, start, get it rolling, and come in and save me like last year Jonathan Taylor did late in the season. Yeah. And hopefully Lab McConkey and some of the other receivers I have, you know, Brian Thomas, Rome Odunze, start getting off to the point where I can trade them to somebody and maybe pull off a better running back combo with Jonathan Brooks, just in case, you know, Zach Moss or Rashad White and Bucky Irving don't actually get better. But I have faith in my guys. But hold on one second, take a sip of water, audio listeners. But yeah, let's talk about the standings. The standings so far in the Best of Bias Invitational 2024 go as follows. First place, we have Drake 1, which is Yancey. Second place, we have K-Swag, which is Kyle. Third place, we have Shenanigans, which is Deshaun. Fourth place, we have Armpit, which is Derek. Fifth place, we got Hot Boys, which is John. Sixth place, we got 56 Double D's, which is Jason. Seventh place, we got CeeDee's Hands, which is me. Eighth place, we got Primetime Pope, which is Kenny. With myself is 9th place. That is Damon. 10th place, we have Derek's Jet Skis, which is Sean. 11th place, we have Cam's Catering, which is Kevin. And 12th place, we have Sean's championship team, which is Sean M. So again, from 1 to 12, Derek, Kyle, Deshaun, Derek. Oh, excuse me. Well, I actually wrote Derek 1, Drake 1. God damn. Yancey, Kyle, Deshaun, Derek, John, Jason, me, Kenny, Damon, Sean G, Kevin, and then Sean M. I know that sounded really difficult for me to say, and I'm not going to say it again, but hopefully everybody that's actually in the league that actually cares about it knows what the standings are, and stop being scaredy-ass bitches and come on the pod. I ain't trying to call you out your name. I don't really mean call you a bitch in that sense, but I'm like bitch as in like Courage the Cowardly Dog type of bitch, like not you as in like a bitch, like disrespectful, but just like hella worried about shit. And I know you could save the day and be great on the pod, but you acting a little scary and shaky like Courage the Cowardly Dog be when Eustace and was it Miriam? Whoever the old people was in Courage the Cowardly Dog, they was shaky, but when they came to perform, they was doing good shit. I just don't know why y'all scared. But anyways, week 4, it's gonna be in the books by the time you guys are able to hop on. But week 5 is an opportunity for you guys to hop on and talk your shit if you want, and plead your case and ask for sympathy. And you know what I'm saying? If you don't, because if you get last place, we talking shit this year. We ain't letting that shit slide. Anyways, let's get into this NFL shit before this time run on the spot. Week 3 results. I'll go over the results and I'll try to remember which teams I picked to win, because I try to give you all advice every week. You know what I'm saying? If you do prize picks, if you do parlays or anything, survivor pools, I try to give you guys advice. So if you want to take my advice and just take that into consideration for when you're picking your teams, you know what I'm saying? I like to do that for y'all. But if you don't, you can just skip ahead in the podcast a little bit. Again, this is not gambling advice. It's just what I would do in this situation. If you want to use it, that's good for you, and you can make you some money. That's good for you. I'm happy to put some money in your pocket. If you want to cash out your boy, I'm not mad at that at all. But otherwise, if it's not something you betting on, it's just some advice on what I think is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So the results from, let's see, week 3 results. Boom, 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 boom. I think that's the week 4 preview. What did I do? Did I not get the scores down on here? Did I be a jabroni about it? All right, let me go over here. I gotta grab the scores from my phone. I thought I didn't put them on the docket, the actual NFL scores from last week, so I gotta actually just grab them here. Okay, starting with the Thursday night football game. Oh, that was Monday. Thursday night football game, it was Jets and Patriots. The Jets did end up winning 24-3. I think, did I record during that game? I don't believe so, but I did pick the Jets to win this game. This game was kind of a get-right game for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I mean, last week, or who did they play last week? Who the Jets play last week? The Jets played the Titans and won last week. Yeah. So this week it was kind of a little different for the Jets. They actually were able to win handily, and everybody's kind of looking at Aaron Rodgers now and kind of looking like maybe Aaron Rodgers can lead the Jets to the Super Bowl. Last year we didn't really get to see much of Aaron Rodgers because he did get hurt the first game. And then the first game of the season they played against the 49ers and didn't look too good. Against the Titans and then against the Patriots, they actually did look actually pretty competitive. Alan Lazard and the Aaron Rodgers connection is still there. Braylon Allen and what's my guy's name? Breece Hall looking like a good 1-2 combo. The 1-2 combos at running back I think this year are really going to be a good thing. Workhorse running back is good, but being able to have 2 running backs with similar skill sets, maybe they have different skill sets, but have similar talent levels. You know, one's maybe better than one, which makes them the starter, of course, but having it not be such a drop off after the first running back comes out and still having the second running back be a threat is amazing. Having Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson, and Alan Lazard, a couple of receivers that Aaron Rodgers is familiar with, or, you know, receivers that actually have talent out there that can move the ball and give Aaron Rodgers a lot of options to be able to get the ball out of his hands really fast. The line's holding up for him, pushing people around and giving the running back holes. It's looking good for the Jets, especially when their defense was already pretty good. They were smacking Jacoby Brissett around. Defensive line was getting home a lot more than last week. And the Jets actually do look good. And I'm sure I predicted that one. I'm not 100% sure I predicted that wouldn't happen. but I'm pretty sure I predicted that one happened. Jaguars versus Bills. The Bills whooped on the Jaguars, which I kind of predicted as well. I think I picked that one. The Jaguars just haven't really been good. Going back to last year, ever since Trevor Lawrence came out of Clemson, being the golden child, supposed to be that guy, he hasn't really performed. The playoffs, he's come up short. He did come back against the Chargers, but that was Brandon Staley and the Chargers. This new iteration of the Chargers, I don't think that would have been able to happen, but they're not able to be competent. The offense looks like they have a lot of weapons and have players that could help them be a good team, but it looks like Trevor Lawrence is just it's not holding up his end of the deal. After he got his money, his talent just flew out the window. But yeah, Josh Allen was just able to do whatever he wanted to do. New receivers, no problem. He was able to navigate the field and just find everybody open. James Cook is looking like an all-star. Even though he's hella little, he's able to do whatever he wants on the field. And yeah, they're able to have their way. And losing all those defensive pieces doesn't really, it's not showing as much I thought it would. The Bills defense is still looking strong out there and making plays. So the Bills did win that game. I did predict that one to happen. Chiefs beat the Falcons. I predicted the Chiefs to win that game just because I'm never going to pick an NFC South team other than the Buccaneers to win because I want them to lose. And it's just kind of, the Mahomes treatment. The Chiefs aren't really playing that well. Kelsey's not playing amazingly. Xavier Worthy, besides the first game, hasn't really shown out to be the consistent piece that they thought he was going to be after the first game. Rashee Rice is breaking out. He's being amazing. Everybody thought, knew he would after last year. Towards the end of the season, he started getting off a lot. So the continuation of that is not super surprising. But with the injuries to Pacheco, the injury to somebody else got hurt on the team. I forgot exactly who it was. But Checo is hurt, but they got Juju Smith-Schuster and you got Patrick Mahomes. So he's able to make a lot out of nothing really. And even if he doesn't have the best skills, weapons around him, or if they have to rotate running backs, he's still able to do what he needs to do to get the wins. Again, I'm not super sold on this Atlanta Falcons team, though they got Kirk Cousins and he can make plays. Bijan's amazing. Drake London's cool. Kyle Pitts is a generational talent, but he hasn't really shown thus far. They got pieces on the defense, Jesse Bates or Justin Simmons, I think it is, of their safety. And then they had, who else? They had Judon, Justin Simmons making plays against Patrick Mahomes and stuff, getting the team in position. But I still think it's not going to be it's not an instant formula, you know what I mean? The Buccaneers has ran the NFC South for 3 years in a row, and that's due to consistency. I don't know. I don't think the Falcons can just get a quarterback that's coming off of an Achilles, and I've been saying this for a while now, and just automatically just run the division. It's just kind of crazy for me to think, or for people to say and just think this actually is how it's going to be. But Falcons did lose that game. Chiefs won 22-17, and I predicted that to win. So hope y'all bet on that. Ravens won, beat the Cowboys. Was it in Dallas? I think it was in Dallas, 28-25. Let me see if it was in Dallas. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it was in Dallas, 28-25. And it wasn't really close. I mean, the Ravens were winning a lot, or winning big in the beginning, and then the Cowboys actually started to come back, but weren't able to complete the comeback. Yeah, but the Cowboys just played now. So though they were 1-2 at the time, we're able to handle a divisional foe, winning 20-15 just a couple of minutes ago on Thursday Night Football. I guess I'm giving away when I'm recording after I didn't say. When I said I wasn't going to, but whatever. They won 20-15 and kind of righted the ship. You saw CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott get into a little fray, and Dak Prescott after this game talking to the fans, if you want to jump off the cliff, jump off the bandwagon now, go ahead. They got back right, but I feel like the Ravens needed this game more. They're 0-2. Losing this game would have made them 0-3. So yeah, they needed it more. Though the Cowboys are expected to be a good team and go 12-4 every year, I just feel like the Ravens couldn't go 0-3 and realistically be that threat in the AFC that they're claiming to be all year. So I did predict the Ravens to win that game for that case. The Rams and Niners game was a crazy one. I didn't really think that the 49ers were going to lose, but they did 27-24. The Rams were just missing so many people, linemen, all their corners, both their star receivers. The 49ers do have injuries too. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, and George Kittle. But again, Jawan Jennings, the way he was playing, they still have the Brandon Ayuk, their number one receiver that they just paid. Their backup running back, Anthony Mason, has been great. They have their full line intact. You know what I mean? So I felt like the 49ers were able to, though they didn't have the best players, they still have players, unlike the Rams, who had most of their lineup kind of out and they're starting all rookies at corner and a whole bunch of new players. But they're able, I guess, Shanahan cannot beat McVay, and McVay just had Shanahan's number and was able to pull out a victory, which is really surprising. I think I picked the 49ers to win this, especially after them losing last week to the Vikings. I thought this was going to be a good revenge kind of get right game against a divisional foe, but the Rams were able to win that game, dropping the 49ers to 1-2. Interesting. Lions and Cardinals. Lions won that game. Cardinals offense slowed down a little bit. The Lions defense is pretty good. Lions lost, or no, they lost. I think they're 2-1 now. They lost to us. So this was a get right game for them, I believe. Yeah, because we beat the Lions last week. So they came out there and showed a little bit throwing hook and ladders and shit like that. Kyler Murray and them, still kind of overachieving, but I still feel like they can make some noise in the division just based on all the other injuries in their division. I don't really believe in the Seahawks too much, though they're 3-0. I think Kyler and them, if they get right on defense and just kind of show up a little bit on defense, I think they can make some noise in the division on a year which everybody is hurt. The Lions again win 20-13. For the Rams game, I think I picked the 49ers, so I think I got that one wrong. And then for the Lions and Cardinals game, I picked the Cardinals, I believe. I'm not 200% sure. You have to listen to back. I always say you got to listen back and keep me honest on that, but I'm not too sure if I did for sure. But Lions did win 20-13. Panthers versus the Raiders, surprise of the week, upset of the week. Everybody saw how bad the Panthers were with Bryce Young. He got benched last week for Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton started, and then everybody on the team got good all of a sudden. Chuba Hubbard. Deontay Johnson, everybody got really good on the team. They putting up numbers out of this world. Andy Dalton looked like motherfucking Tom Brady. They won 35-22. Antonio Pierce got on his team after the game. Looked like some people gave up out of embarrassment, and he said they made business decisions. So he's gonna go ahead and make some business decisions himself and kind of make some determinations based on that. Pretty cryptic, but everybody was kind of making kind of assumptions about who he was talking about. I don't know if it was Devontae Adams, was it Jack Johnson, but there's words on who it could have been. It's just words in the locker room. I think if I was coach, I'll just use that as words as warning to people. Be like, be on your shit next week, because what we're going to watch on tape is going to be some self-reflection, and you don't need the coach to call people out on effort once you watch it on tape. It's embarrassing enough. He'll probably be embarrassed by just watching that shit. But I did not predict that to happen. I for sure picked the Panthers to lose to the Raiders, and they disappointed me. Dolphins versus Seahawks. The Seahawks won 24-3. Yeah, Dolphins look terrible without Tua or a quarterback. Skylar Thompson looks garbage. I didn't watch this game, but I can just see by the score and how well Tyreek Hill did for me on one of my fantasy teams that, Dolphins need to find a replacement for Tua quick, or else the season's going to be over before they know it. Again, Seahawks won 24-3, making the Seahawks 3-0. I don't know. Yeah, I think I picked the Seahawks in this game, knowing that the Dolphins didn't have a quarterback. But if I didn't, I'm ridiculous. I had way too much faith in Miami on that one. The Bears versus the Colts. I'm sure I picked the Colts because the Bears look garbage. Their offense doesn't know what it's doing. Colts were able to hold them to 16 points without DeForest Buckner. Caleb Williams still throwing interceptions all over the place. Keenan Allen hurt. I don't know if Keenan Allen being back this week would help this offense at all. The offensive line is trash, and Caleb is running for his life all game. So, yeah, shout out to the young man, but it's not looking good for him. 21-16. Another surprise of the week. And I think I picked the Colts to beat them. I'm sure I did. Texans versus the Vikings. Another surprise of the week. Texans were at home, I believe. No. They were in Minnesota. They're in Minnesota. They lost 34-7. Stroud looked completely shook up. He was running for his life, threw a couple interceptions early, got out of it early, and the Vikings and Sam Darnold are continuing their reign. They're just balling out. The defense is playing out of its mind under Brian Flores, and Sam Darnold is having an MVP-worthy season so far. So we'll see if they can continue it. They're 3-0 going into this week, so we'll see what happens. But I definitely didn't see this one coming, so I got this one wrong. I think I picked this one right. Giants versus the Browns, because the Browns, I don't know, man, because the Browns with Deshaun Watson, the situation is looking bad for him. I think Garrett Myles Garrett hurt his foot, so he was in and out of the lineup that week. The Giants were able to move the ball. Malik Neighbors is looking really good. Look, all these LSU guys, man, coming out of college, these receivers is looking ready. Pause. And doing big things for Daniel Jones. Again, I just watched the game versus the Cowboys. He had at least like 10 to 12 catches. It was nuts. But yeah, and the targets are off the charts, and he can get open too. It's not like they're forced targets. He's actually open. And he's a big part of the offense. So it's good to see that. Good to see the Giants actually get another receiver after Odell. They've been looking for so long. But after they get, hopefully, I don't know if they paid Daniel Jones. I don't know if they'll stay with him, but if they get a quarterback and get the line is looking good, defensive and offensive lines, get some DBs and, get some good running backs out there. Singletary is cool, but they won this week, but lost. They beat the Browns, which is good, 21-15, but they lost to the Cowboys. I think that puts them at 1-2. But it's good. Again, Neighbors had a concussion, it looks like, so hopefully he's able to shake off the concussion and get out of protocol for next week and keep that good rookie season going. But I don't know if I got this one right, but Eagles Saints, pretty good game. Eagles won 15-12, very defensive. No AJ Brown in this game. Devontae Smith actually got hurt in that game as well. Saquon Barkley actually broke the game open with like a 40-yard run, which was most of the action in the game. Finally giving the Saints a loss after everybody thought that they were the team going to the Super Bowl after 2 weeks. Hopefully, good thing somebody brought them back down to earth, and then they play the Falcons next week. So, you know what I'm saying? It could be 2 back-to-back losses. If not, the Falcons will lose another game. So all in all, it's good for me. Not much to talk about there. I predicted the Saints to lose because I always do. The Packers did win. I believe I did pick the Packers to win just because it's the second week Malik Willis was able to, keep the Packers afloat, throw short passes, using his legs. Will Levis, we still don't know about him. He's still looking like a bust. We're actually counting now how many times the coach cusses him out on the sidelines. Is how bad that relation is. Really tumultuous, you know what I mean? So we don't know if he's actually going to last. Giving up Malik Willis, is looking like a mistake now, especially after they got beat 30-14 in the revenge game. So I did pick this one. Chargers, Steelers. Steelers, man, surprising everybody off the back of Tomlin and that defense, keeping Justin Field upright, able to do what he can with his legs, make the little passes he's able to make, and he's able to do his thing and keep the Steelers afloat. They're 3-0 right now. So I did pick the Chargers. You already know Justin Herbert got hurt, so that's probably why. I wouldn't say that's probably why the Chargers lost, but the Steelers defense with TJ Watt, they're out there doing their shit and they're back up to their dominant ways. So they're holding every team they played under like fucking 18 points. You know what I mean? So if they're able to do that, Justin Fields just keeps them afloat, gets them in range. Najee can run it in, or then they just make enough plays to get points on the board and don't let the other team score points. They could be successful. You know what I mean? They can actually win the division, just especially with the Ravens being 1-2, Bengals being 0-3. The only other team that I think about is the Browns. The Browns are trash too, so they can win that division if they keep playing the way they were. So, and then of course, lastly, and probably we don't have to talk about much at all. Tampa Bay versus the Broncos, man, it was one of the worst games of the season. I definitely did not expect this, but I did kind of expect a trap game. Everybody was looking at how bad the Broncos have been playing and just expected the Buccaneers to win just based on our first 2 weeks. We're dealing with a lot of injuries after the Lions game. No interior offensive defensive linemen at all. Our 2 starters hurt. Our starting right tackle has been in concussion protocol for 2 weeks. Our $60 million a year, well, I don't know if it's $60 million a year, but $60 million guaranteed safety, Antoine Winfield is, just now getting out of a walking boot with an ankle injury. Our backup corners are hurt. Our middle linebacker is slow as hell. So it's like a lot of the stuff. We have a lot of weaknesses on defense right now, especially with everybody not being healthy. So it's just looking ugly. We thought we can go into this game, and the Broncos being the Broncos, our injuries can just, and we did it against the Lions, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were hurt and we were able to muster up enough strength to win the game. They thought we can just rest all the people that were hurt. Of course, we want our injured players to get better, but if they were able to play and we could have used them for bodies just to make, and disrupt the Broncos just a little bit, we could have used it because we're really thin in a lot of positions and it was exposed. Our DB were playing off the receivers, giving them short completions all day. No pass rush because of Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey being out. No pressure. It was just really ridiculous. So we lost 26-7. Baker Mayfield making very bad plays. First 2 weeks, he looked like Jesus Christ himself. Not, I'm just playing. But this week he got happy feet holding the ball too long. Thought about scrambling in a situation where he should have just thrown the ball away, and it was just really ugly, and it was really bad to look at, especially when you're vouching for the man, and it's just looked like regression back to the old ways. But hopefully this week against the Eagles, it's tough for competition. But I feel like with the injuries they have and some of the opportunities we have to exploit those injuries, I think we can get back on track and hopefully sneak a win against a team that people don't think we should have win, to make up for the losing to a team that everybody thought we should have beat. You know what I mean? But without getting too emotional about it or bashing my team too much, we're moving on to next week. We're still 2-1, but we have to play better because that shit was nonsense. And I definitely got that one wrong. So let me go on the week 4 preview, and hopefully we can get some better predictions and make you guys some more money and make it hopefully less of a depressing result for my Buccaneers. But let's go through the week 4 previews really quickly. Dallas and Giants, they're in New York. Dallas was favored by 4.5. They won 20-15. So I guess you would have covered if you picked the Cowboys to win that. But I was going to pick the Cowboys regardless. Saints are favored in Atlanta against Atlanta. I'm picking Atlanta because I hate the Saints. I'm sorry, Saints, but I'm picking against you no matter what. Atlanta, I hope you win that game barely. You know what I'm saying? You guys can tie, actually, if you want to. I'm not even going front. Rams at Chicago. Rams favored by 2.5. I don't know how, with all those injuries, they're favored by 2.5 in Chicago. That's nutty. But actually, you know what? I'm going to pick Caleb to get his first win against the Rams in the upset. I'm sorry, Rams fans, but I got to do it. Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Packers are at home. And this is another one where it's crazy that Minnesota is getting, well, I guess it's not crazy that they're getting 2.5. No, the Packers. Okay, I read that wrong. The Bears are getting 2.5 points at home. So they're not underdogs. So I got the Bears to win, and it's not going to be an upset. And then the Vikings, though, the Green Bay is favored by 2.5 points at home against a 3-0 team, which is crazy. I'm picking Minnesota in that one. If you got some money, I will put it on that because that's nutty for it to be that way. Maybe Vegas knows something that I don't know, but I got Minnesota in that game. Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. Pittsburgh served by 1.5, probably because of that defense, and Anthony Richardson makes some crazy ass stupid plays in time. So I think that defense can ruffle his feathers enough to make him make mistakes. What else we got? Indianapolis. Denver Broncos at New York Jets. Again, this is kind of like another rebound game for Aaron Rodgers, just to prove that he can actually hold his own and actually make some noise with the Jets. I got the New York Jets winning, and the spread is 7. That's crazy. Let's see. Philadelphia at Tampa. Philadelphia's getting 2 points at us. I'm never gonna pick against us, bro. I think we can do this. It's a rebound game. Everybody knows how he played last week. Hopefully we can hope we getting Vita Vea back, hopefully. And I think our right tackle is going to be back, so give Baker a little bit more time in the pocket there, because Cody Mock and, or what is it? Cody Mock? I don't know how to say his fucking name. And whoever this guy is filling in for Gadecki, Falk, is just terrible. That whole right side of the line gets folded all the time, and you can't give Baker no time. But hopefully, they got a giant ass off our defensive line over there in Philadelphia. Hopefully, with our offensive line, we can push them off the ball a little bit, get them a little overzealous, maybe get some screens going to Rashad. Their DBs are going to be soft, so hopefully Chris Godwin and Mike Evans can make some noise and we can score more points than them. And they don't have their starting receivers, so if we can stop the run, we should be good. So I'm picking Tampa. Cincinnati 0-3 at Carolina. If Cincinnati doesn't win this game, they should get out of town. They're favored by 5.5 points in Carolina, so I got them. Jacksonville at Houston. Houston's favored by 4.5 points. I got Houston. Get right game against lowly Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not going to beat them. Commanders at Arizona. Arizona served by 5 points. I think Kyler Murray's going to eat them alive. Rebound game for them as well. New England. Whoa. New England at San Francisco. San Francisco's favored by 10.5 points. That is nuts. Yeah. Rebound game for both teams, but I think 49ers are going to win this game because they want it more, and they're going to have something to prove for sure. If they lose to the Patriots, then this season is going to be over. So they're not going to do that. Cleveland Browns favored by 1 in Las Vegas. I think Vegas is going to win this game. I don't think Cleveland Browns are going to win at all. That's crazy that they're favored by 1 point. But I guess it's kind of like a pick 'em. But Kansas City at LA Chargers. I'm picking the Chargers just because. It kind of depends though if they have Justin Herbert or not. If they don't have Justin Herbert, I mean, if he's not like at least 70%, I'm going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is purely on favoritism of Justin Herbert, but the Chiefs are favored by 7, and they're probably going to win. Buffalo Bills at Baltimore. Baltimore Ravens favored by 2.5 points. I think the Baltimore Ravens start rolling. They'll shut down that defense over there. Will get right and shut down Josh Allen and all the lucky stuff he's had against inferior competition. I think the Baltimore Ravens will shut them down and have a good game plan against them and keep rolling at home. Tennessee Titans at Miami. I'm gonna pick Miami just because I feel like Will Levis and Skylar Thompson are maybe on the same level as far as quarterbacks go. But I don't think the Titans have a Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or a Chain. So I think offensively they'll get a game plan going where they can beat the Chiefs and just score more points. And then lastly, is Seattle at Detroit. I think Detroit's going to win. Detroit's favored by 4.5 points. They're at home. Though Seattle is undefeated, I don't think they've played a competition as good as the Lions. So I think the Lions will win that at home. I think there's more. Actually, I don't think that's it. Oh, that is it. So again, just to recap the week 4 matchups and who I'm picking. I picked Dallas. That game is already over. I don't think I should count that, but I'm picking the Falcons against New Orleans. I'm picking the Rams in Chicago. I'm picking Minnesota against Green Bay in Green Bay. I'm picking Pittsburgh against Indianapolis in Indianapolis. I'm picking the Jets at home against the Broncos. Tampa Bay at home against the Eagles. I'm picking Cincinnati in Carolina. I'm picking Houston at home against Jacksonville, Arizona at home against Washington, 49ers at home against New England, the Raiders at home against Cleveland Browns, the Chargers as my upset of the week against the Chiefs, only if Herbert's playing. If he's not playing, and again, if he looks obviously hurt, I feel like you guys should give me a break on that one. But Ravens over the Bills, Miami over the Titans, and Detroit over Seattle. Write it down, book it. Again, this is advice. This is just what I would do. This is not necessarily gambling advice, so don't take it to the bank and bet all your money and lose it just because of what I say. This is what I would do. You know what I'm saying? Nick? But again, if you want to shoot your boy a little cash out money, I wouldn't be mad at it. Quick touch in with the WNBA. WNBA playoffs have started. Again, WNBA playoffs, the series are really short. It's best of 3. So we're already through the first round. We made the second round already. The Aces, I believe, I want to say they beat the Mercury, New York Liberty. They beat Atlanta. Connecticut Sun, they beat Caitlin Clark in the Fever. And then we had the Minnesota Lynx. They just beat, I believe, no. New York played Seattle. Did I say that? No. Who played Seattle? So Aces played Seattle. The Liberty played Atlanta. Right. And then I think, of course, Connecticut played the Fever. Right. And then the Lynx played Phoenix Mercury. Boom. Let's go. But anyways, that was the first round. It was a great first round, but I think the favorites did win in each series. Connecticut, though, they were playing Caitlin Clark, and everybody kind of expected Caitlin Clark to muster the team to a victory over the favored Connecticut Sun. I know DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, Bree Jones. Was Dejanay Carrington on the Sun? Yeah, she's on the Sun too. Yeah. They were working hard and they were balling all season. Besides the Liberty, I think they were the number 2 team in the East. So I knew that them playing against Caitlin Clark and them was a bad matchup for Caitlin Clark and them. I just kind of felt like if they're playing against the Sun, maybe if they're playing against the Link, they had a better chance just because they match up with the bigs, Nafessa Collier, and maybe Caitlin can give their guard some trouble over there in Minnesota. But they had unfortunately get the matchup with Carrington, who D'd up Caitlin, had a good series against her. Then you had Alyssa Thomas in the middle to get rebounds and kind of box out and just kind of her and Bree Jones, Alyssa Thomas, just kind of, or excuse me, I said Alyssa Thomas, Leah Boston, just kind of negate her from making a big difference. Kelsey Mitchell, of course, she was balling all season, wasn't able to do enough to get them through the series, but I think Nafessa Collier in her series dropped 42 points. So seeing the Lynx against Connecticut is going to be an amazing semifinal. And of course, seeing the Aces versus the Liberty, a rematch of last year's championship, is going to be amazing to see. Sabrina Ionescu last game, the final game of the series. Of course, you have 2 games at home if you're the number 1 or the higher seed. And if it goes to a game 3 and the best out of 3, the away team is home. So New York was able to close out Atlanta at home, scoring 32 points, 8 assists, was just balling out, man. So I'm loving seeing the elevation right now. And me personally, this may sound like some hate, but I'm happy that Caitlin's out and Sabrina's in, just so we can let Sabrina shine a little bit. Because I'm always saying, excuse me, they moved past Sabrina's greatness a little too fast. You know what I'm saying? They were too ready to move on to the whole Caitlin era when we're still in the midst of Sabrina's. You know what I'm saying? She made the play out of the championship last year, her and Stewie. You know what I'm saying? They still trying to get their recognition before you completely forget about them. And Asia Wilson, back-to-back championship, 2-time MVP, 3-time now. I'm getting to those awards in 1 second. But you know what I'm saying? I'm happy to see the Aces and Liberty still get their flowers before they try to kind of push and kind of like, detract us from the stars that are kind of current and kind of like force Caitlin down our throats. Because even now, they're still talking about all the shit and all the accolades that Caitlin has and all the viewership that Caitlin brought to the games, though she's kind of already out of the playoffs. So I kind of feel like the point of people's kind of hate and annoyance with Caitlin Clark's rise during the season, it was kind of like took away from the greatness and the impact of a lot of players that are actually currently in the WNBA that are kind of bearing the torch now, and kind of like trying to pass it to Caitlin too fast. She's going to have her time, but there's some players that are players in the league that are just now kind of getting popular, and the recognition and the eyes are just now kind of getting towards her. Towards them, and they're not going to give away the spotlight willingly, though it's ushering a lot more eyes and a lot more funding into the league. One, I feel like that funding should have been there already, and there's plenty of people that could have brought that attention, though statistically it may not show up on the score, the record books and stuff like Caitlin's have. It's just, I feel like there's a lot more to be marketed in the WNBA, and I feel like if they kind of just took all the attention off of Caitlin, whether it be good or bad, I know all publicity is good publicity again. Talking shit about Caitlin brings attention to the WNBA. Talking good about her does, and obsessing over her does as well. You know what I'm saying? But if a happy medium would be cool too, because we got LeBron in the NBA, but we still got Steph Curry, we still got Kevin Durant, we still got all these other stars and storylines, but they're just forcing the Caitlin storyline down our throat like there no other player exists. I mean, we get a little bit of Angel Reese, but we don't talk about Angel Reese without talking about all the hater stuff that we attach to it. I mean, I guess the same could be said about sometimes when people talk about Caitlin, but I just feel like that shouldn't be it. We should have way more. Asia Wilson, back-to-back champion, 3-time MVP. Like, we barely talk about her, but I feel like we've talked about Caitlin Clark 6 times as much as her. When she has nowhere near the accolades that Asia Wilson has. You know what I mean? It's just kind of weird. But anyways, can't wait to see it. Second round starts, I believe, maybe tomorrow. I gave the girls a couple of days to get ready and transition into the next series, but I'm not 100%. But when you're listening to this, maybe the series may have started already. But again, it's Liberty versus the Aces round 2 and Lynx versus the Suns. So that's going to be crazy. Again, some of the awards, though, just the 3 main ones that I've seen popping around social media. Rookie of the Year, of course, goes to Caitlin Clark. Congratulations to her, because I saw a lot of evolution in her game. Though she came in kind of already decorated and people kind of already knew what to expect, I kind of felt like I saw evolution in not only her game, just her personality and how she plays the game. Just like her ingratiation into the team and how her accepting of her teammates, though they're not always in the right spot, maybe not be able to catch her balls, pause when she throws them to him. Like she's a great assister, but when she throws the ball to the players, they're not always ready for it. You know, because those balls be coming quick, and when they don't make the plays that she wants them to make, she doesn't give that awkward look. She doesn't shy away from high fives anymore. You can kind of see that her teammates accepted her, and she kind of accepted the role of being a teammate a little bit more for the Fever towards the end of the season. So I love that evolution. And though she wasn't scoring, making her shot crazy amounts at the beginning of the year, towards the end of the year, she started getting the consistent scoring flow. Those assists were there. Those winning percentages were there. So, I mean, yeah. Towards the end of the season, it was kind of undoubted that she was going to win the Rookie of the Year, though injuries did put up a good fight as far as her double-doubles and her multiple games with hella like 20 rebounds and shit like that. Yeah, Caitlin's talent's undeniable. And if anything, she definitely deserves that Rookie of the Year with the shit that she did. Though people complained about her not making the Olympic team, this, and that. But she deservedly, for sure, 100% deserved the Rookie of the Year. And definitely commend her for that. Hey, good shit, and continue to grow. Can't wait to see it. A'ja Wilson, of course, MVP for a third time, balling out this season from beginning to end. Though the season's not as long as the NBA season, she put in work from the beginning to end. She wanted y'all to remember that they are the champions from last year. Again, with all the talk of Caitlin Clark, she wanted them to remember what she could do. Multiple 30-point games, multiple double-double games. Shit. You know, the Aces didn't have as great of a record as they had last year. They were balling last year, were almost undefeated like most of the season. So this season, you know, after winning a couple of years in a row, you can kind of fall off a little bit and kind of get bored with it. So seeing how she was still able to have MVP type season, though her team was kind of like a little more lax than it really wanted to be going into the playoffs, was amazing. I'm loving to see her evolution, and I'm loving to see that she's getting the recognition that she actually needs or deserves that needs, because I'm sure she don't need no recognition from nobody, but she deserves it all. Shout out to you, A'ja, and congratulations and good luck with the rest of the season, though. You already know I'm rocking Team Sabrina. You already know what I got on my chest, and you already know what I'm vibing with. You know, I'm saying, got my jersey on in honor, and then that's why I got this jersey on, if y'all didn't notice. But yeah, lastly here, a little bit of cinema corner before I get you guys out of here. Penguin episode 1 on HBO Max. Man, that shit is crazy. You guys need to check it out. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because you can still watch it now. Episode 1, episode 2 doesn't come out till Sunday, so check it out before I give away too many details. I will just say Colin Farrell is doing his thing. From the walk to the look, nobody can even notice that's Colin Farrell. Just the accent, he's Irish, I think. So the fact that he's putting on the New York accent, doing it so well, portraying it so well, people are calling it a Batman Sopranos type of shit. You know what I'm saying? How it's being depicted and how great it's being portrayed, man. I'm in. Episode 1 was amazing. Just from the beginning, just starting off exactly where the Batman movie left off. Yep, young, premature Batman, just in a world where Penguin's actually young himself before he became the crime boss that he was in the comic books, in the cartoons. Yeah, you could it's just crazy, man. Just seeing the comic book character, just this portrayal of the Penguin is just way different, because I just remember always that the Penguin was always kind of portrayed comically. He looked like a penguin. He smoked a cigarette, had the little monocle. But this one's different, man. You can tell he's been through some shit streetwise and just wants to make a name for himself. You know what I'm saying? I do like the aspect of us getting an earlier version of Gotham City before all the Harvey Dents of the world, the Falcones, the Maronis, the Cobblepotts. You know what I'm saying? All these people are young before they actually made their name, because we always see them older and already being established crime bosses. And for us to get these stories and kind of depict them before they came up is hella dope. Again, HBO Max episode 1 is out right now. I believe it comes out on Sundays. First episode premiered on a Thursday. But from now on, it's going to be Sundays. Didn't come out last Sunday. But so this Sunday coming up, whenever you listen to this podcast, is when the second episodes come out. So watch episode 1. We'll go a little bit more in depth and probably try to get some people on to talk about the show episodically as I get more guests on. I do need to get more guests on, but it's kind of hard during the football season because I'm so methodical with the sports and stuff. But maybe I will get Chelsea on some, because it was her birthday. She wants to be on here to talk about some shit with y'all. Switch it up a little bit. Get away from the sports. Get away from the guys. You know, point of view. I know you guys like to hear the girls out. We should give Chelsea her own show, really. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk her into coming up with our own podcast on the Best of Bias Sports Network. You know what I'm saying? So you asking, she can go on there and just vent on her own. She ain't got to wait for me to get her on when she want to say something. You feel me? But yeah, go check out The Penguin if you guys are into that type of thing. I know everybody's not really into the superhero type shit, and some people are Marvel people and not really into DC at all. But give it a chance. Give it a chance. A little something different, different speed. Again, if you like The Sopranos, just check it out. And then lastly, I don't really want to talk about this too much because I don't really know about the real story, how it affects people in real life. I just know it from the show. But Monsters, Lyle and Erik Melendez, that whole crazy story about the brothers and them killing their parents, the whole crime mystery kind of show. It's not a documentary, but it's like a reenacted documentary. If you guys saw the Dahmer show or the Dahmer kind of reenactment monster shit on, was it Netflix, I believe, or FX, one of those. I think it was Netflix though. This is kind of the same ilk, American Horror Story director, producer, but it gives the depiction of the Melendez story. I don't know if you guys remember it from back in the day or actually are watching the show, but it's a crazy ass show. Again, I don't really know the case in real life, so I'm just kind of watching it as it goes and kind of getting pieces from there. And it kind of does it backwards, so I don't know actually what ends up happening, to be 100% honest. So I could be talking out of my ass. So I'm just going to give that precursor before I give what it's about. Two brothers basically end up killing their parents when they get put in jail. It kind of just gives a backstory of their lives and how they were abused by their parents and how their dad was the kind of a sick bastard, man, kind of sexually abusing his sons, having him touch other people, just kind of abusing them mentally and a lot of that shit with them coming up, growing up. So they used that as motive to brutally kill their parents with shotguns while they were sitting watching ice cream in the living room. Lyle and Erik Melendez, again, these are real people and this shit really happened. So again, I don't know what ends up happening. I know they're in jail now. Well, I would assume for this shit to be coming out, I don't think they would be kind of like, I don't want to say idolizing or just kind of beautizing. I don't know if that's a word either. This shit, if the people were out and about and are able to be free, but it's nuts, man. Just from why they killed their parents, the stories they're telling about how their parents abused them, how their dad abused them, to the point of their mother being so abused and cheated on by the dad and so hurt by what the dad did to the kids and so stuck in a situation where she couldn't stop anything, to where she wanted to die, and this commonly talked about killing the kids because the kids came up bad and become horrible kids just because, I wouldn't say just because, but because they were supposedly abused and spoiled and rich their whole life, and the way that their dad treated them and the way they coped with them just turned them into assholes, and they didn't like their parents or didn't respect their mom at all, which caused their mom to lash out. And then after a while she got tired of it and just said whatever. And just the fact that their dad was supposedly abused by his mom and the whole hurt people. And then how can you kind of like even give humanistic kind of sympathy to somebody that does their parents like that, even if they were abused? It's like the way they killed them, it just seems so crazy. And then all the stories kind of seem fabricated after the fact to help them seem a little more sympathetic in court, try to get away with killing their parents. So again, I haven't finished the show. I don't know what really happened. So don't take my judgment or my interpretation to heart. Me personally, I just feel like if they're really molested or abused like that, causing them all this whole chain of events, I can get why they felt like they wanted to kill their parents. Me personally, I don't think I would be willing to do something to the effect that they did, and to the point where they tried to cover it up. And I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to believe. And after talking to people that actually heard about the case or do research on the case, people still don't know exactly what happened or what happened. Because we will never get the real story, because they killed their parents or allegedly killed. I don't even know how to put it. But they aren't alive to tell their story, so we don't know the reason for the Melendez brothers killing their parents. But again, we don't know exactly if the molestation and the abuse is true or not, because we don't have the accounts from the parents. We just have accounts from people that are around the family that kind of did hear from time to time. And then there was cases where the brothers kind of try to coerce people into making up allegations of the dad and the parents abusing them, just so they can seem again more sympathetic in court, and people can understand why they actually did it. It was just really crazy. Again, check that out. It's on Netflix, and also check out the McMahon, man, the Mr. McMahon, that shit about the WWF, and it's come up, and Vince McMahon and his downfall. Like, there's a lot of shit going on right now. I guess they're kind of idolizing, again, it's that word, or just it's another word that I'm looking for, not idolizing, but they're just really big on, I mean, some of these people deserve it, but just profiting off of people's downfalls, you know what I mean? I know, these people are assholes in the ultimate scheme of things, and they're doing shit that they shouldn't have been doing, but being able to profit off of telling us stuff that we kind of already know, and then us watching it makes you money. It's just after the person's down and out, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be able to do it if the person wasn't already in jail and able to sue the person for making this kind of shit. But all in all, I mean, the world's a twisted place, and we are entertained by the craziest shit now anyways, violence and fucking murder mysteries and shit like that. The most twisted shit is what makes the most money, and all of us as Americans are into. So what can I say? But anyways, check that shit out too if you want to check it out. I just like to give you guys shit to watch if you guys are bored and, looking for something new to wet your whistle, if you will. You know what I'm saying? But for now, this brings us to the end of the podcast, where I can let them know where to find me at. It's Patrick_Lydell on the it's Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat, SAC_Lydell on the Instagram. If you're looking for your boy, again, on Twitch, it's Lydell_Dinero22. Join the team, boy. 2K, Tekken, college football, what else we got? Warzone. It's all of it, man. Just hit me up, link, add me as a friend. I got PlayStation and Xbox. I'm gonna be on both, you know what I'm saying? So wherever you want. I think it's a different gamer tag that I have on the Xbox. For Twitch is Skitty Grub 1, but we'll get into that when the time comes. I don't think I'll be streaming on that. But if you want to be on the pod, you know where to hit me up at. Hit me up on the Instagram, hit me up on the Twitter. And hit me up on the Snapchat as well. If you're looking for Best of Bias, we got a Best of Bias Instagram too. We have stories posted every day. Give you guys topic I may not talk about on the pod, or I may talk about and elaborate on in the pod as well. I just kind of, as I get it on Instagram, I want you guys to know some stuff that I find interesting. Again, it could be anything in the pop culture sphere, sports or pop culture. Just check the Instagram story. We got a lot of shit that you may not know. Keep you guys updated on everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, find the podcast wherever you find your favorite podcast. Spotify, Google Play, or not Google Play anymore. I think they went down. Best of Bias, or is it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Most of the places where you find your favorite podcast at. Go ahead, click play on the YouTube. Hit that bell so you don't miss any new videos. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends about the pod. Because we're just trying to expand, man. We're just trying to become one of your favorite podcasts, something that can represent our culture, the pop culture and sports culture to its, to its umpteenth degree. Just trying to be another Potter out there doing big things and just holding it down for its community. I know there's a lot of us, but you know what I'm saying? I've been doing this and trying to keep you guys informed since 2019, bringing you guys the heat every week. And I just want everybody else in the world to know we out here moving meme, and we ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop to the phone stop. To the phone stop. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep on doing it for the people. But for now, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your day, whatever day it is. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for joining me. It's Lydell Dinero, and it's the Best of Bias Podcast, episode 221, season 3. Yeah. It's season 3. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's going to happen in season 3, aka we should need to drop a new banner for season 3, make it a little more epic, change it up for season 3. New theme song coming soon too. Don't worry, we're gonna get aka to rap. We're gonna get him to rap a little bit, huh? But yeah, for now, it's the Best of Bias Podcast. Where that theme song at? It's Lydell Dinero.
It's the best of Bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of Bias. Your Best of Bias. Yeah.